Just then we are talking about reproduction in insects. Then the reproduction, sexual reproduction in insects. Then we have seen there must be the meiosis, gamete production, then fertilization, most of the time internal, then development. The development occurs by the process of metamorphosis. I think we have seen these three as far as this sexual reproduction. Then we have seen this metamorphosis, development. Then these three. Complete metamorphosis, incomplete metamorphosis, then no metamorphosis. You see, in the case where there is no metamorphosis, which is known as ametaboly, this is the direct development type of embryonic direct development, like in humans. The embryo directly develops without giving some stage like larval stage or pupal thrusting stage or some transform. There is no direct development into a fully developed organism, individual. And then no metamorphosis. That means, which is direct type of development, a metabolic. Then when we see this one, what's metamorphosis, special definition? The word metamorphosis is of course a Greek terminology, which is translated into transformation, or change from one form into another until it develops into the fully developed adult form, transformation. Metamorphosis is a process by which animals undergo extreme rapid physical changes, sometimes after birth or hatching. Metamorphosis is the process by which animals, not all animals with indirect development, undergo extreme rapid physical changes, sometime after birth or hatching. The result of metamorphosis may be change to the organism's entire body plan, such as change in the animal's number of legs, its means of eating, or its means of breathing. Change it. For example, tadpole, the larval form of frog, breathes by using gills, whereas the adult has lungs. Therefore, it is often accompanied by change of nutrition also. What the animal eats, what tadpole, the larval form of frog, eats, and what the adult eats are completely different. Change of nutrition source, or change of behavior. You see, therefore, transformation, when the organism changes from one form into another by the process of metamorphosis, there are changes in anatomy, body structure, complete change. The larva is completely different from the adult. Imagine butterflies, the adult butterfly. Its larva is worm-like, whereas the adult is with beautiful wings and flying up the sky. Even the adult, the butterfly, feeds on nectar most of the time, whereas the larva may feed on fruits, seeds, or leaves, vegetation. Therefore, during metamorphosis, transformation, the different stage of this transforming stage of the organisms in metamorphosis may be different in body plan or body anatomy or body structure, plus nutritional source, plus habitat also. Habitat also is different. The place where they live is different. Then some insects, fish, amphibians, mollusks, crustaceans, cnidarians, echinoderms, tunicates, which are known as tunicates are chordata, undergo metamorphosis. You see, even there are chordates which undergo metamorphosis. Tunicates are chordates. Otherwise, insects. Fish also are chordates, of course. Amphibians also chordates. Mollusks, crustaceans, cnidarians, echinoderms, tunicates, all these undergo metamorphosis. Their egg goes into transformation into different stages until finally becomes the adult form. Metamorphosis. Types of metamorphosis. Here we will see the indirect development, complete metamorphosis, which is also known as holometaboly. Holometaboly, you have to know this. Holometaboly, complete metamorphosis. The second is incomplete metamorphosis, hemimetaboly. The two types of metamorphosis. When it comes to this first complete metamorphosis, you have to know, occurs in four stages. Four stages. These are depicted in the diagram here. The egg is laid in a suitable environment. In course of time, it develops into larva. You know, the larval form is the feeding stage, the voracious feeder stage. The pupa, the larva, at the end of its growth, you have to know that there are stage in the larva. Larva 1, larva 2, larva 3, larva 4. Larva 1 is smaller than larva 2. Larva 2 is smaller than larva 3. Larva 3 is smaller than larva 4. Larva 4 may be the final fully grown larva, which transforms into pupa, resting stage, by forming cocoon, or as you observe, cocoon or chrysalis, a basket made by the larva, inside which the larva transforms into adult. Resting stage. The larva is the feeding stage, the actively feeding stage, and actively moving stage, worm-like stage. And pupa is the resting stage, which is usually wrapped or covered by cocoon or chrysalis. Then you can see here, for example, in the process of transformation, butterfly larva. This is the larva. Now the larva of a butterfly is undergoing. Number two, the pupa is now spewing the thread to form chrysalis. It's forming, it's covering itself. Finally, it is forming. Finally, it covers itself, fully covered inside this chrysalis. The adult, the totally formed, the adult breaks the chrysalis and comes out. Butterflies coming out of the chrysalis at the end of transformation after the resting stage, which is known as pupa. Okay, then note. Let's add some points here, of course, not included in your text. The larval stage is the feeding stage. I have said it a lot. The larva or larvae feeds and grows. When we talk about economic importance of insects, especially the negative economic importance, the larvae of many insects consume vegetation. They are enemies of our agricultural plants, agricultural crops, and the negative economic importance, the larva, because it is voracious, actively eating, actively moving and eating stage. The problem is when the larva eats and grows, you see, it eats and increases in size. But there is one problem. What's that problem? The outermost covering of the body of the larva is covered by cuticle, which do not allow growth. Tight. It's tight. It is not relaxing. It's tight. Therefore, for the larva to grow from smaller to larger size, first it must break the cuticle, outermost covering. By the way, the cuticle is very important. This substance, cuticle, is also found in plants. The upper surface of leaves is coated with wax. This is wax, cuticle. It prevents water loss by desiccation or evaporation. So, it is beneficial for these insects. The larval stage is beneficial to prevent water loss. If their body is dehydrated, lost too much water, they may die. Therefore, it is survival mechanism. But the problem is the cuticle do not allow growth. So, before changing from smaller to larger form, it must break the cuticle. The cuticle that cover the smaller larva must break and be destroyed. This, of course, is this occurs by hormonally orchestrated process. Of course, is hormonally controlled process. There is hormone produced, which is known as ecdysone hormone. Ecdysone, it's a lipid hormone. Ecdysone produce, which initiates the breaking down of cuticle, so that one larval stage develops into another larval stage. Growth occurs after breaking cuticle. Then the cuticle is reformed. When that stage of larva is going to grow into another bigger, again the newly formed cuticle must break down by producing the ecdysone hormone mechanism. Therefore, you see, it's continuous. Therefore, one larva may undergo. By the way, there are stage, larval stage, not molting. This breaking and removing the cuticle is known as molting. As you know, molting. Uh, During the larval stage, the larva may undergo several molting stages. Molt, molt number one, number two. Therefore, this stage between two molts is known as instar. 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 Therefore, one butterfly may have three instar larvae, or four instar. I do have some example I'll show you. Therefore, instar larvae refer to the developmental stage of insects larvae between molts. Between molts. Developmental stage between molts. Therefore, between larva 1 and larva 2, one instar. An instar is defined as the stage of an arthropod between molts, starting from hatching from the egg. There you can have this. For example, you do have this is butterfly. This butterfly is unique to the American. North America. North America. By the way, North American have this. Even they 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 are near to just what can I say, uh, more than love when they celebrate it, and also they worship, you can say they worship to this butterfly, monarch butterfly, unique to the American, the North American mainland, and it is indigenous, it is their own species. Therefore, monarch the negative impact is that this is the adult form. The adult form, of course, is feeding on you, as you observe, feeding on nectar. But the larval form, larva number one, number two, number three, therefore, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stage until it grows into fully developed adult, looking like this one. You see, there are larva 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Therefore, how many instars? There is one instar. Between this and this, one instar. 2, 3, 4 instar. Instar means the stage of development between consecutive larval stage. Therefore, this is monarch. And the problem is that all this worm stage or larval stage destroyed agricultural crops. Then, agricultural, though they destroy agricultural crops, Americans do not want to lose this animal because it is their endemic on which they boast. Therefore, this is the life cycle of the monarch butterfly. The caterpillar goes through 5 instar stages. Caterpillar means the larval stage. 5 through 5 instar stage, growing significantly during 5 larval stage and 4 instars. You have to correct it like this, because we have said that instars are the development stage between 2 larval stage. Now we are talking about complete metamorphosis. Examples of insects with complete metamorphosis. I have given you this. These are Hymenoptera. Under this class, Hymenoptera. Class Insecta. Order Hymenoptera. Bees are there. Ants are there. Wasps are there. I think you are familiar with this. This is one typical ant. There are many species of ants. This is the honeybee. These are wasps, smaller wasps. There are many, middle size, big size wasps. These are relatively smaller wasps. And this is butterfly, honeybee. And then this one is wasp. Therefore, difference. They are all belonging to the order Hymenoptera. The others are Coleoptera. These are the beetles. You can see the beetles here. All sorts of beetles. They are successful. Many attractive, odd-looking dragon, you call it, this one is dragon beetle or the monster beetle, they call it. They belong to the order Coleoptera beetles. And Diptera, the flies, including the housefly. And flies and butterflies are different, please. There is butter before fly in butterflies. You can see flies are all these sorts of flies, all sorts of flies. Some of these flies are vectors transmitting deadly diseases. Okay, these are the different species of flies. And you do have here also Diptera flies, Lepidoptera, the most attractive of these insects with complete metamorphosis are butterflies and mosses. Butterflies, you can see, these are butterflies. You can see butterflies, and there mosses, butterflies, mosses. This, especially their larval form, are really huge pests which are destroying our crop plants. Our crop plants, agricultural enemies, the larvae of this special Lepidoptera insects are number one enemies of our agricultural crops, causing huge economic loss annually around the world. Then we do have this, therefore, these are those butterflies. These are insects with complete metamorphosis. Now, let me jump into incomplete metamorphosis. Incomplete. What do you call what is the other name for incomplete metamorphosis? Of course, it is also known as gradual metamorphosis or hemimetaboly. Hemimetaboly. Three names: gradual metamorphosis, hemimetaboly. Of course, it's part of indirect development. In incomplete metamorphosis, young animals that look like the adult hatch from the egg. The egg is immediately changed to smaller adult looking like, just except that it has no wings, wingless, smaller creature which resembles the adult or which exactly looks like the adult. And we call this stage nymph stage. Therefore, there is no larva, there is no pupa. Therefore, directly adult, nymph, different stages of nymphs. This also undergo molting. They break cuticle in order to grow in size. But in this case, smaller nymph becomes larger nymph, then larger nymph, then larger nymph. They may molt 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. But you have to know that the nymph is exactly similar with the adult, except that they have no wings. This is one difference. Therefore, what are the 3 stages? Adult, nymph, egg, nymph, adult. Egg, nymph, adult. Examples of insects with incomplete metamorphosis, these are, of course, some are parasites, of course, some are this one. You see? Siphonophthora, the fleece. ቁንጫ ቁንጫን ታያታላችሁ። መጀመሪያ ከላይ ቁንጫ ኢንሴክት ነች። ቁንጫ ደመጣች ነች። ቁንጫ ቁመቷን 60 እጥፍ ወደ ላይ መዝለል የሚችል ተፈናጣሪ ቁንጫ ብዙ ጊዜ ለመያዝ ያስቸግራል። ፕሊስ እዚህ ውስጥ ናቸው። በዚህ ቪዲዮ ፊልም ታደርገው እንቁላል ጥላለች። ከሴክስ በኋላ እንቁላል ጥላለች። ሴቷ እንቁላሉ ሚጢጢ ቁንጫ፣ ትልቅ ቁንጫ፣ አዳልት ቁንጫ አም ሬዲ ናው ፎር ሴክስ ትልና ከወንዱ ጋር ሴክስ አድርጋ ይቀጥላል ህይወት ማለት ጃት ሴት then the Isoptera እነዚህ ደግሞ የማህበር እንስሶች ናቸው። የሰው ልጅ ዩኒት 1 ላይ አስተምራቸዋለሁ። አይሶፕተራ ምስጦች የገነቡት ኩይሳ፣ አንድ አርኪቴክት ኩይሳው በሙቀ ጊዜ ውስጥ አይሞቅም፣ በቅዝቃዜ ጊዜ አይቀዘቅዝም፣ ራሱን ኢንተርናል ቴምፕሬቸሩን ኮንስታንት አድርጎ መኖር የሚችል ነው። ምን አይነት ተአምረኛ ኢንሴክቶች ናቸው እንዴት ሰሩት ብሎ አርኪቴክቸሩን አጠናውና እሱም እንደዛው ኢስቲጌት የሚባል አንድ የገበያ ማዕከል ሰርቷል። ዚምባብዌ ውስጥ የሚታወቅበት ራሱ አይቀዘቅዝ አይሞቅ ቢሞቅ አካባቢው ቢቀያየር ኮንስታንት ኢንተርናል ቴምፕሬቸር ሜንቴን ማድረግ የሚችል ፕላስ ህንፃው ራሱ ኢነርጂን ሴፍ የሚያደርግ ኤሌክትሪክ ፍጆታው የቀነሰ ሆኗል። እንግዲህ ከተፈጥሮ መማር የሚባለው ባዮሚሚክሪ ነው። ኢሚቴሽን ፍሮም ኔቸር ምስጦች ናቸው፣ አይሶፕተራ ናቸው። ኢንኮምፕሌት ሜታሞርፎሲስ ነው የሚጠቀሙት። ኤግ ኒምፍ ቱ አዳልት የአዘርስ ኦርቶፕቴራ የሚባሉት ኦርደሮች ናቸው። ግራስሆፐር እና ክሪኬት ብዙ ጊዜ ድምጻቸውን ጭር ሲሉ ሰማላችሁ ማታ ላይ ቤተሰብ ኮርትሺፕ ኮል ነው የሚባለው። እሱ ወንዱ ነው የሚያደርገው፣ ሴቷን እየጠራ ነው ለይልኝ የኔ ቆንጆ ማለቱ ይሆናል እንግዲህ ሲተረጎም በሰውኛ። ሄሚፕቴራ ትሩ በግስ ነው የሚባሉት። ታሳያቸዋለሁ። ትሩ በግስ እንደዚህ ናቸው። ትሩ በግስ ይኸውላችሁ፣ ትሩ በግስ ነው የሚባሉት። በግ ማለት ቢዩጂ ቹሃን ማለት ነው። በግ እንግሊዝኛ አገላለጽ። እነዚህ ትሩ በግስ ላይ የትዋ ዝርዮች ናቸው። ትሩ በግስ ማለት አናቶሚካሊ ስፒኪንግ እነዚህ ናቸው ትሩ በግስ። በሽታ አስተላላፊዎችም አሉ። እነዚህ ቬክተሮች ናቸው። አንዱ የኢንሴክቶች ኔጌቲቭ ኢኮኖሚክ ኢምፖርታንስ የሚባለው they are vectors. They transmit deadly disease. Then true bugs, then homoptera ሲርካድስ እና ሆፐርስ የሚባሉ አሉ። ሲርካድስ እና ሆፐርስ ለማን ናቸው? you can see them ሲርካድ እዛ ጋር ታዩታላችሁ። ይሄም ድምጽ ያወጣል። ሆፐርስ ታያቸው አንዳንዶቹ ቅጠል ነው የሚመስሉት። አዳፕቴሽን ነው ይሄ። ከመፍላጅ የሚባል ነው። ከመፍላጅ ማለት ከአካባቢው ጋር ቅጠል መስለዋል። ከለራቸው፣ ቅርጻቸው ጠላት በቀላሉ አይለያቸውም። ወይም ሊበሉት የሚፈልጉት እንስሳ የሚበሉ ከሆነ ሳይለዩዋቸው ሲቀርቧቸው በጥቃት ለማሰንዘር ይጠቅማቸዋል። ሆፐርስ እና ሲርካድስ ኢንኮምፕሌት ሜታሞርፎሲስ ናቸው። ሆሞፕተራ ናቸው። ኤፊሜሮፕተራ የሚባሉት ደግሞ ሜይ ፍላይስ ናቸው። ኤፊሜሮፕተራ ሜይ ፍላይስ እና ኦዶናታ ደግሞ ድራገን ፍላይስ እና ዳምስ ፍላይስ። መጨረሻ ላይ ያሳያችሁ የዚህ ዲያግራም በዲያግራሙ ማየት አለባችሁ። አካባቢያችሁ when you if you by chance come across a certain insect, you have to be able to identify this is this. Therefore you can see this. Can you identify if, for example, what's this? You may call this dragonfly. Dragonflies and damselfly are different. This is damselfly. You see the wing? When it rests, it keeps its wing just like this. Dragonfly ግን ሲቆም እንደተዘረጋ ነው ክንፉ። የኋለኛው ክንፉ በጣም ሰፊ ነው፣ ብሮድ ነው። ታዩታላችሁ። እዛ ላይ ብዙ ልዩነት አላቸው። የሳይዝ ልዩነትም አሉ። እነዚህ ይሄ አብዶሜናቸው በጣም ቀጭና ቀጫጫ ነው። እነዛ ወፈር ይላል። ዲፈረንስ አለው። you see dragonflies, damselflies እና ሜይፍላይሶች ላይ የምታዩቸው ናቸው። እንደ ትንኝ አይነት ነገሮች ናቸው። ሜይፍላይስ you can see this. therefore ኤፊሜሮፕተራ በኦርደር ሁሉ ይለያሉ። ሜይፍላዮች ከድራገንፍላይ እና ዳምስፍላይ ይለያሉ። ዳምስፍላይ እና ድራገንፍላዮች አንድ ኦርደር ውስጥ ነው ያሉት። ኦዶናታ የሚባል ኦርደር ውስጥ ነው ያሉት እና እነዚህ እንግዲህ ኢንኮምፕሌት ሜታሞርፎሲስ የሚያከናውኑ ኢንሴክቶች ኤግዛምፕል ነው። you have to know all this. You may not be obliged to memorize the order, but that is if you are asked describe 10 insects or 5 insects that undergo or develop by incomplete metamorphosis or hemimetabol. When describe 5 insects which are hemimetabolous or holometabolous. Then when it comes to, this is summary for you, just I have used the other terminology. Holometabolous, that means insects with complete metamorphosis. The egg is laid in its appropriate environment, suitable environment. The egg hatches into larva undergoes molting grows, then finally it forms, this is chrysalis. It's not cocoon. Cocoon and chrysalis are different. Chrysalis attaches on branch or on the bark just like this, attachment site. Then this is used አሁን ላርቫው ትራንስፎርም እያደረገ ነው ማለት ፑፓ ነው የሚባለው ስቴጁ። እንዳንድ ላርቫው ወደዚህ ተቀረብ ሲጨርስ it breaks, the adult breaks and open ክንፏን ዘርግታ ትወጣለች። ይሄ ኮምፕሌት ሜታሞርፎሲስ ነው። ይሄ ኮክሮች ነው። ኮክሮች ኢንኮምፕሌት ሜታሞርፎሲስ ነው ኮክሮች እና this is incomplete metamorphosis. hemimetabolous ኢንሴክቶች ናቸው የሚያደርጉት። hemimetabolous insect egg develops into small adult form. What do you call it? nymph, and then later nymph. There may be third, fourth nymph stage, finally adult. The adult is ready for reproduction now. Therefore, these are a summary hemimetabolous metamorphosis and holometabolous metamorphosis. The other is the last parts. Of course, this is not also included in. You have to know, as part of reproduction of insects, they should have included this. While a student is discussing about metamorphosis, changing form, transformation, they should know how this change occurs physiologically, biochemically, what controls this transformation from egg to larva, from larva to pupa, from pupa to adult, or from one nymph form to the other nymph form. Hormones control this growth, change in development. An insect growth and metamorphosis are controlled by hormones synthesized by endocrine glands which produce hormone and release into the surrounding fluid or the surrounding blood. Therefore, glands near the front of the body, of course, anterior brain, glands in the brain in case of insects. You see, there are neurosecretory cells in the brain, neurosecretory cells, nerve cells, which are able to secrete hormones. They secrete the prothoracicotropic hormone, PTTH is produced by nerve cells in the brain of the insect, neurosecretory cells. PTTH then activates prothoracic glands in the thorax, part of the body, next to head, thorax. In the thorax, there are glands, prothoracic glands. Therefore, this hormone, PTTH, goes and stimulates, activates prothoracic glands, which in turn secretes a second hormone known as ecdysone. Ecdysone. It is steroid complex lipid, ecdysone, that induces, this ecdysone induces what? Ecdysis. What is ecdysis? The molting, shading, molting, breaking the exoskeleton to further grow from one larval stage into the next, or from one nymph stage into the other nymph stage. You see, it's very important. You have to know. Therefore, you have to know PTTH and ecdysone. You have to know neurosecretory cells in the brain. Then, prothoracic glands in the thorax. They are very important. You see, the brain, neurosecretory cells secrete PTTH. PTTH moves through blood into the thorax. In the thorax, prothoracic glands are stimulated to produce what? Ecdysone. Ecdysone is released. Ecdysone released into the blood, and when it reaches in the blood and in the cells and body cells, it enters into mitochondria, changes into 20-hydroxy ecdysone active form. Now, ecdysone, as its name, ecdysone is not active. When it is changed into 20-hydroxy ecdysone, it's active. What will do then to the insect? It stimulates process by which the cuticle is broken. Cuticle is broken. Now the larva or the nymph is free to eat and expand to become big. This is one big process in insect growth and development. We have to know this. Key terms here: neurosecretory cells, yeah, then PTTH, then prothoracic glands, then ecdysone, then ecdysis, the process of molting, removing or shedding or breaking and losing its outermost cuticle covering. And this is very important in growth development of insects. Now, PTTH also, you see PTTH also stimulates, you see PTTH, it's a very key hormone. PTTH also stimulates corpora alata, a retrocerebral organ. Still, it is near to the cerebrum at the front of the body. Retrocerebral organ to produce another hormone, juvenile hormone. It's lipid, which prevents the development of adult characters. This is inhibitory. It delays the formation of adult structures during ecdysis. You see, it prevents the larva must first grow to full size. It should not be hasty. It should not speed up the transformation of the larva into adult without the larva growing into full large size. Therefore, juvenile hormone, they nickname it JH, juvenile hormone slows or prevents or inhibits the development of the adult structures. Okay? Therefore, when do you think is in complete metamorphosis, in case of complete metamorphosis, when do you think juvenile hormone is produced in large amount? During pupation. Pupa. At pupal stage. Why? The pupa is what? Resting stage. What is doing the larva inside there? Oh, the larva has completed its growth. Now it is starting to produce adult structure. So, adult structure, which prevents the development of adult. Of course, adult characteristics during this hormone prevents the formation of adult structure. Therefore, it must be produced during molting, not during transformation of pupa into adult, because it is inhibits adult structure formation. Then, this is a diagram that simply elaborates. This is the brain. Inside the brain, there are neurosecretory cells. These neurosecretory cells, they produce PTTH, prothoracic gland, thorax. These are glands in the thorax, prothoracic, and prothoracic glands release ecdyson, the hormone ecdyson. This ecdyson goes and inside cells, mitochondria changes ecdyson into 20 hydroxy ecdyson, or simply 20E. 20E ecdyson. I didn't properly naming it 20 hydroxy ecdyson ecdyson ይኸው ስቴሮይድ ሆርሞን ስቴሮይድ ባለ 4 ሪንግ ነው። 3 ሄክሳጎናል አንድ ፔንታጎናል። ይሄ የኮሌስትሮል ዝርያ ነው። ኮሌስትሮል እና ቫይታሚን ዲ ዝርያ ነው። እና ኤስትሮጂን የሴት ሆርሞን ኤስትሮጂን እና የወንድ ልጅ ሆርሞን ቴስቶስትሮን ዝርያ ነው። ባለ 4 ሪንግ ኮምፓውንዶች ናቸው እነዚህ ስቴሮይድስ እና እዛ ውስጥ ነው የሚገኙና እንግዲህ እነዚህ ካርቦኖች ነው የምቆጥረው። እነዚህ ካርቦኖች ቁጥር 20ኛው ካርቦን ላይ OH ሲጨምሩበት 20ኛው ካርቦንን ሃይድሮክሳይድ ሲጨምሩበት 20 ሃይድሮክሲ ኤክዲሰን ሆነ። አሁን እሱ ነው አክቲቭ የሚሆነው። ምን ላይ አክት ያደርጋል? አዳልት ፎርሜሽን ላይ አክት ያደርጋል። እዚህ ላይ ይሄንንም አክት ያደርጋል። ይሄንን ማለት ኤክዲሰን promotes the change of the larva into adult or pupa into adult. ለአንዱ ላርቫ ወደ ሌላ ላርቫ እንዲቀየር ወይም ላርቫ ወደ ፑፓ እንዲቀየር አስተዋጽኦ ያደርጋል። ዋን ላርቫ into another larva አስተዋጽኦ ያደርጋል። ወደዚህ ስመጣ ጀስት እነዚህ ናቸው ኮርፖራ አላታ የሚባሉት ኦርጋኖች እነዚህ ናቸው። ጀስት at the back of the brain ከብሬን ጋር የተያዙ ትንንሽዬ ኦርጋኖች ናቸው ኮርፖራ አላታ። this produce ምንድነው የሚያመርተው? PTTH አሁንም እነዚህን ስቲሙሌት ሲያደርጋቸው ምን ያመርታሉ? ጁቬናይል ሆርሞን ሪሰፕተር አለው። ጁቬናይል ሆርሞን ስብ ስለሆነ ከተመረበተበት ስፍራ እዚህ ብሎ አይሄድም። ምን ይሆናል? አክቲቭ ይሆናል። ሌላ ላይ አታች ያደርጋል። ጁቬናይል ሆርሞን ሪሰፕተር አንድ ላይ ተያዙ። ኦኬ መኪናና ተጓዥ ተገናኙ። መኪናው ጁቬናይል ሆርሞን ሪሰፕተር ነው። ተጓዡ ጁቬናይል ሆርሞን ነው። አንድ ላይ ሲሆኑ ሄደው ሴል ውስጥ ገብተው ፕሮሰስ አክቲቬት የሚያደርጉት ምን ለማድረግ? አንድ ላርቫ ወደ አንድ ላርቫ እንዲቀየር፣ ላርቫው ወደ ፑፓ እንዲቀየር፣ ፑፓው ደግሞ ትራንስፎርም እንዲያደርግ ወደ አዳልት ፎርም የማድረግ ሚና አላቸው። this you have to know the chemistry. It's very simple as far as this class level is concerned. Very simple to remember. Just play neurosecretory cells. These produce PTTH. PTTH is a stimulant for both corpora allata and prothoracic glands. When it stimulates corpora allata, juvenile hormone ይመረታል። ፕሮቶራሲክ ግላንዶችን ስቲሙሌት ሲያደርግ ማን ይመረታል? ኤክዲሰን። ኤክዲሰን ማይቶኮንድሪያ ውስጥ ገብቶ እነዚሁ ሴሎች ውስጥ ምን ይሆናል? 20 ኤክዲሰን ይሆናል ወይም 20 ሃይድሮክሲ ኤክዲሰን የዛን ጊዜ ነው አክቲቭ የሚሆነው። ይሄ ጁቬናይል ሆርሞን ደግሞ ጁቬናይል ሆርሞን ሪሰፕተር የሚባል ፕሮቲን አለ። እሱ ላይ አታች ሲያደርግ ነው አንድ ላይ ተጉዞ በደም የሰውነት ሴሎችን ገብቶ የሚቀይረው። ስለዚህ ምን ይሆናል? ላርባው አንድ ላርባ ወደ ላርባ ወይም እንቁላሉ ወደ ላርባ ስቴጅ 1 ወደ ላርባ ስቴጅ 2 ሞልት እንዲያደርግ ፕላስ ላርባ ወደ ፑፓ እንዲቀየር then ፑፓ ወደ አዳልት እንዲቀየር አስተዋጽኦ። ይሄ this is hormonal control of what we have been talking about, hormonal control of metamorphosis, the changes in form, metamorphosis, the changes in growth, development of insects, metamorphosis. This is another diagram to depict. If you like further information on everything, that we have been talking about this unit about animals so far, I will provide you additional information, and you are welcome to ask and request for that information. And I think when it comes to chordates, you see, now we are talking about all the other invertebrates, chordates. When it comes to chordates, okay, is there metamorphosis in chordates? Yes. Frogs are vertebrates. There is metamorphosis. How do frogs control the egg changing into tadpole, the larval form, into adult? It's not ecdysone or juvenile hormone. The chemistry now changed, and the hormone chemistry that transforms or that controls metamorphosis in chordates is iodothyronine induced. That means thyroxine, the hormone produced by thyroid gland, controls the transformation process. All chordates that undergo metamorphosis use not ecdysone, juvenile hormone, but iodine-containing hormone known as thyroxine. This is our difference, the difference between chordates and non-chordates. You see, this is the end of the first section lecture on unit